Okay, so I think we are live. Yes, we are live. Awesome.
We are live.
Welcome everyone who is just tuning in. Um, we just went live a few seconds ago. I'm wearing my space t-shirt because I am over the moon over the news we just shared this week. Sorry for the pun. Sorry, Mel.
It's cool. It's cool.
Okay, so until everyone is coming in, and hopefully we're gonna have some steady flow of questions, I am going to have Mel just to recap the little tiny news that we had this week. What was it?
Yeah. Obviously, we had a big week here at Zen. Tuesday, we announced that the Williams Bally tables are coming into Pinball FX3. Zen has secured the rights to the entire collection. We're very, very excited, to say the least. Junkyard, Medieval Madness, Fishtails, The Getaway, High Speed 2 are the first games coming. That's going to be Volume 1. We're hoping to announce a release date really soon. The games are actually in live beta right now on Steam. So if you download Pinball FX3, open the game up, right click, select the Williams Beta branch, you're going to get to play those now. Kind of holding off on what our actual release date is, just because we want to make sure that the physics simulation, which is brand new for these games, is spot on, and it's something that you guys feel good about. And so that's very, very important to us. So that's a very important part of this announcement, is that there are new physics associated with these tables. They play differently from the Zen tables that you're used to playing historically. Let's see what else. I mean, that's pretty much the bulk of it. I mean, there's so much there to take in and to handle. We know you guys have a lot of questions. We've seen them on obviously all the social feeds and the forums. So today we just wanted to kind of open up, be available to you, answer your questions. Some things we might not be able to answer all the way in depth. We do have more announcements coming. I would say that the full scope of what we're doing is not yet revealed. So we do have more things that we will reveal as time goes on. We didn't want to give it all at once because it just would have been maybe a little too much to handle. So ask your questions. We'll see what we can get to. And we're happy to be here with you today.
Yes, thank you. So people are coming in right off the bat. There's Justin asking, why is there no beta for PSN?
Okay, the timeline that we had to work with here to get tables out the door kind of precluded us from working on console betas. They take a lot longer to set up. There's more overhead involved. It's just more complicated. On Steam and even on mobile, these platforms provide us a lot more control, and we can do things much faster. So we chose to go on Steam, on PC, just because we can make changes to the game much faster. We can get the actual beta out much faster. It's in our best interest to get things out to you as soon as possible. So unfortunately, no PSN beta this time around. We'll see what the future brings as we progress on this long marathon of a pinball journey, I might add. Thank you.
Yeah, and we've been listening to your feedbacks that you've been leaving either on the Digital Pinball Fans forum, on the Zen forum, on the Steam forum, and everywhere on social media. And Deep, who is the guy behind the whole new physics, and this Williams spec, he's the one who is tweaking all these stuff to be as close as the real tables as possible. He's been listening, he's been writing up, and he's been working on a big update to release into the game to make it much better. Or I should say even better.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing for everyone here to understand, is that your feedback is very important to us. We do listen. If you look at the history of what Zen has done over the last, I don't know, 13 years, especially with pinball the last 10 years, this is the game that you guys actually have asked for. The features, the things that we do, the content we make is actually, it's not hard for us to make decisions. We just look at what you guys say, what you want. So on the physics especially, we're paying very close attention. I mean, we know that we have to nail this. It's not like it's the elephant in the room. Like, we already know. We know what you guys want. So we're working on the physics. It's going to be perfect.
Okay, so we have a question here from one of the viewers, that will you be able to level up and like unlock the stars and the wizard powers in the new Williams tables as well?
Absolutely. This is one of the cool things about FX3 is that we're building features and modes and things for you to do with your tables so that every time you play it, you got something new to accomplish or it feels fresh. The same goes for the Williams tables. All the single player challenges, multiplayer matchups, featured tournaments, user generated tournaments, leveling out your stars. Pinball FX3 is like an RPG. So all these tables have all those features. You're going to get to enjoy all that, and I think you're going to provide some new challenges for you. The the hardcore mode, tournament mode, which is based on IFPA type of stuff, is going to be challenging.
It's
I'm
brutal.
interested to
Yeah.
see how well y'all do there.
Yeah, the playfield is steeper. There's no
Yeah.
extra balls. Uh, the little rubber rings at the side of the table at the outlanes are set to very hard difficulty. So yeah, it's not a table or a mode for the feeble-minded, I guess.
This is hardcore. I've spent some time with it. Makes me feel like I need to up my game. That's for sure.
And we had a question that's been coming in on since the release. Is that are we thinking mobile with these tables?
Yeah, we are definitely coming to mobile. It's we're going to have specific mobile announcements at a later date. So I would say that at the initial launch, it's just going to be console, PC, and Mac focused. Um, the tables aren't coming to Zen Pinball on Android and iOS like most of our tables come to. We're doing something different, and we'll talk about that very specifically with all the details as soon as we're prepared to do that. But yes, rest assured, it's definitely coming to mobile.
Awesome, that's great news. Bill is asking, is the Switch getting new tables with this release?
Yeah, the Switch is getting the Williams tables day and date with other platforms, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. I mean, that's all the same. I know everyone's also wondering, I'll just start in with Marvel and Star Wars Pinball coming to Switch. We're working on it. We want them to be there too. So in this case, we're able to bring Williams day and date with everything else, and that's fantastic news.
That's awesome. I'm just going to answer Renee here, who's asking, is it available now? It will be available, but we have the release date specifics held on for just a little more. We're gonna be giving you more info in the future. Okay, I think it's time for the big one, Mel. Is are we interested or are we looking into doing like the double licensed games, as I could say it, like Adam's Family, Judge Dredd, or any other this kind of movie based tables?
Yeah, and actually, I call those third-party based games in the licensing world. So yeah, okay. Williams Pinball, we've licensed the rights to the collection from the IP owner itself, which is Scientific Games. So for anything else that has another license associated with it, we've essentially only done half the work. And what everyone kind of needs to understand is that there's lead time associated with getting a license deal done. There's a lot of parties involved. There's business people. There's lawyers. Anytime you have a legal process, it just adds extra time and overhead and all that stuff. So the initial set of tables that are coming, Volume 1, probably Volume 2, and maybe even Volume 3, you're not going to see any licensed content yet. But I think that Zen is uniquely positioned to go out and get these licenses done, especially the very difficult ones. We have a long history now of licensing huge brands, working with tons of different IP holders. We have their trust and their credibility. We know how to negotiate. We know how to just work together with people. So things are going to get done. There's a few holy grail moments out there waiting for us, and this I think is part of the reason why Zen is working with these games. Is we're going to make some really really great things happen for you.
That's awesome. There's another question here about the family filter on Medieval Madness. I don't know if you know about it. It's a setting where you can have all the dragon animations, the kind of racy texts and voiceovers play. So there are people asking about that, but I think I know the answer to that. Is that we have like some age rating stuff we need to think of here? Can you
Yep.
elaborate on that?
Yeah, Pinball FX3 is E10, and our descriptors, I believe, are mild violence and suggestive content. So we have to make sure that we fall within that ESRB rating. There may be some things that we do to the games just to keep them there. Everything's got to be completely family or age appropriate under that rating. Uh, so yeah, whatever we need to do to make that happen, there might be some more specifics that we need to like address there. But for now, I just say that the game will definitely be in that rating.
Awesome. We've been getting a lot of requests for VR versions of these tables, which
Yeah.
I think is an awesome idea. What do you think about that?
Okay. Once you play a pinball in VR, it is really hard to go back and playing it in the standard way. Like I think our team has done a fantastic job of creating immersive environments. Anybody out there who's played Pinball FX2 VR knows what I'm talking about. Um, I still remember the first time I put the headset on for Secrets of the Deep, and there's like a shark swimming around, and the scuba diver, and the jellyfish. I felt like I was underwater, and then the table's right in front of you. So, I mean, I imagine these tables playing in VR like exceptionally well. If you guys want it, just keep telling us. The VR market is a little smaller than the rest of games combined, and so for us, it's always a little bit of a risk, like producing more and more VR content. We do well there, but we want to make games as accessible as possible. I wish that there was more headsets in and it was just an easier decision. But, as time goes on and we hear from you more that you want VR, and we want to do it too because I want to play Medieval Madness in VR. I think that there's probably a good chance that we can make that happen. Akos, I don't know how you feel, but like I can think of a ton of games. Like Pinbot comes to mind. Like that would just be an awesome VR setting. The atmosphere around that would just feel really, really cool. I don't know. It takes a while. Like we don't just do our VR stuff. I don't know how to say it. It's all custom groundwork. Every environment goes different. There's tons of art that has to be produced, tons of assets. It's kind of like rebuilding the game itself. So it is a big undertaking. But I'm glad to hear so many people enjoy it and want it.
Yeah. Speaking of Pinbot, do you have like a favorite table out there that you played like in your youth or just like enjoy playing?
Yes, I think I've talked about this before. Fishtails is just my all-time favorite game. I grew up in the mountains of Northern California. I grew up backpacking and fishing and just being outdoors. And the first time I saw Fishtails, it just like automatically resonated with me. The ball launcher being a fishing reel, and then having the fish and just the whole thing. It was pretty funny. I didn't, once I figured out the game was about and kind of the story behind it, I realized every fish I caught, as I was telling the story to people, yeah, the fish got bigger and bigger, and that's what fish tells about. And go funny, go figure the flippers are actually smaller than your standard table, so it's kind of funny. I think I get the humor of that game, and that's also why I kind of say Fishtails is coming in the first volume because I love it. I want everyone to play that.
Yeah, that's a legendary table. For me,
Yeah.
I would say it's Attack from Mars, maybe. I used to play it with my dad like 10, 15 years ago. We used to go to the lake, the country, and we played it like for a week when we were on holiday. It was awesome.
Nice.
So yeah, and that's when if I find it, I always play like 2, 3 games on it. Okay, so some people were asking about the team behind these Williams tables, like how many people, like who are involved, like what kind of departments are there.
Okay. Well, I think the pinball team right now is roughly 40 people. But we also have other shared resources at Zen. As you know, we make other games that are not pinball related, and so we have some shared resources that kind of move between groups at our studio. These include like QA. We have a dedicated QA team internally, so they're also on top of that. What I would say 40 people. The full support of the publishing team, business development, back end submissions to first parties like video creation, all the store assets, all that stuff. That's also on top. So when I say 40, that's actually people like working on the pinball team itself, making games. In this case, taking machines apart, doing all the stuff we need to do to them, taking the pictures, piecing them together, actually production of the tables themselves, the artwork, like everything involved. That's a dedicated team. and that's a sizable workforce, for a game team. So we're throwing everything we got behind this. You have a full support of Zen Studios.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the table taking apart uh, section of development, because I've been seeing this every day. It was phenomenal seeing like the four tables that come in the first pack, just disassembled, all the parts laying on all around the room. It was amazing, like seeing these games really inside, which you don't really necessarily do. And what we did is we made exclusively high-res photos and footage of every table, every part, every little bumper, and we meticulously recreated them in 3D and went over them in the 2D department. I think they look really great.
I thought it was really funny when I come to the studio and I go in the back room there and we've got the machines taken apart and I'm holding like things that I don't know how old they are. When the last time somebody, a person on Earth, like held the components of these tables. And then to see them get all put back together again and the machine works perfectly, that's amazing. I'm not that mechanical, so I think that's like we're doing a really great job because these games still need to be played. Some of them need to go back to the Budapest Pinball Museum. Some of them are, our favorite games in the office. So, they can't just like not be played anymore. So good job to the team doing that.
Some people are asking about if we are going to develop our own fantasy tables along with Williams.
Our own fantasy tables, meaning
like
are we
the
gonna
regular Zen products?
Okay, yeah, we're gonna still make Zen original games. There's no question about that. I will say the focus for the next, for the foreseeable future is definitely Williams Bally. But as you know, next week we have the solo pack releasing. And then we're actually working on 2 Zen original designs, which we'll be announcing probably early next year, and then hopefully out shortly after that. And these are, things that we've come up with on our own. I think both really, really awesome concepts. One of them is definitely crazy, a lot of fun. The other one's a little more grounded. But yeah, we're still working on Zen games, and I know it's going to be tough for us to. I think that the challenge is going to be figure out what to prioritize from the Williams Bally collection, and then also get out games that are Zen originals, and working with our other licensors that we still work with. But the good news is some of those also apply to Williams Bally. So, that's some of the really, really great things happening here.
And another topic that comes up again a lot in the community is how are we gonna release these tables in packs like we did, or individually?
That's a good question. And this is something that we've talked about a lot, especially kind of the business level, and then also how it trickles down to players. Is we see a lot of people requesting just individual releases, and that you want to buy the game that you want, not necessarily have it tied to a pack. What I can tell you, and this is the honest answer, is that it is better for us to release the games in packs for a variety of reasons. I think the one that impacts you the most, players the most, is that the costs are actually kept down. It would be we would have to charge a higher price if we were going to release just every table individually. And that's for a number of reasons. It costs us a lot more to do that. It costs first parties a lot more to do that. What I mean by first parties is actual publishing resources required from guys at like PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo, because every submission we make, they have to process it, they have to get it ready, there's assets that have to be made. So if we can group content together and just do that process one time instead of over and over and over individually, it saves money. It's just more efficient. Our workflow is better that way. The way we have teams set up is better for packs. And so instead of us charging like $5 a table or even more, you can get a pack of tables for one price. And so I think that, I hope that you guys would appreciate that. I know it takes away some flexibility. But then I'll also say that there will be some cases and some times when we have to release games individually. You'll know why. You'll understand why it makes sense. Licensors don't allow their IP to be mixed with other IP. They don't allow their brands to, so I hope that makes sense. Like you can't release like something that's branded Universal with something branded Fox and just call that together and have everyone be happy. Like they all want their own space. They want their own time, their own announcement assets. So that's about as honest an answer as I can give you. And yeah, it also, this game's coming to you quicker, lower price, more efficient for everybody, better for everyone, I think.
Awesome. Um, there was one thing at the end of our announcement video, which has people guessing, where Jolt invites every pinball fan to Budapest to take a tour of the studio and go to the pinball museum as our treat. Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, we want to open the doors at Zen. We want to be a little more accessible. Being in Europe, a large part of our fan base is there. I know the guys in the US, it's a little bit more of a trip for you, but come to the studio. There's actually a form for you to fill out on our website if you want to schedule a tour. We'll do a walkthrough. We'll show you what we're working on. We'll show you how, the process of making the games. And then at the end of the tour, we're going to give you a ticket to go to the Budapest Pinball Museum, which is actually the largest pinball museum in Europe. I've been there several times. It's an awesome place to hang out. They have a ton of games. Ranging from a wide era. Some of the stuff there I was shocked that they have because it's very, it's hard to find some of these things. So yeah, go check that out. We just want to shed more light on pinball museums in general and places that have these games. Now that we're working with Williams Bally, we're kind of a part of the more historical aspect of pinball. And so we feel like it's kind of a part of our charter, a part of what we need to do now to help just drive awareness. I'm wearing a Pacific Pinball Museum shirt today. I don't know if you can see that. But this is a museum in Alameda. I'm in Northern California, and this museum is nearby my home museum, I say. Michael Scheiss is the director there. He's been an amazing support to the pinball community over the years. And they're a fantastic location. So if you're in the Bay Area, if you're in the U.S., go check them out. And from time to time in Pinball FX3, you'll probably see us highlighting locations and just talking about what their mission is and just making more, just so you guys know and you can go check them out and support them. But we definitely want to play these games in the real world. It's still very special to us. It's a ton of fun. There's a lot going on with the game of pinball right now, obviously. So we're just happy to be a part of it, and we want to push people to go check out these awesome locations.
Yeah, the museum is really cool. They have like a really early wooden machine from the 1920s or something. It's crazy.
I know. I was trying to remember what the name of that was specifically. It's off my mind right now, but I've never seen anything like that.
Okay, I'm just gonna filter through the questions now.
Okay.
That's a good question from Alicia. So what IP or media would you personally love to make a pinball table of? Like, of anything?
Of anything? Right now, probably my favorite things right now are Stranger Things, Rick and Morty. I would love to do games based on those. And if I was to pick one out of the Williams Bally collection, I mean, it's unprecedentedly, I want to do Indiana Jones. Let's just say it. I want to do it. We're going to make it happen.
Yeah, that's a table that a lot of people have been inquiring about.
Yep. Yeah, that's got to be on the top of the wish list. Interestingly enough, I also saw some lists like Shadow and Congo, Demolition Man. These are all great games, really unique things about them. So they're on our radar, I know that these are some games that have never been released digitally, so we'll see what happens.
As someone asking about the solo pack, if you could give us some info about that.
Yeah, so Solo coming next week everywhere. It's stinking awesome. There's tables based on Solo, Battle of Minbon, and my favorite is called Calrissian Chronicles. And I think that all three do a really good job of, it's called the Solo pack, but I think that the great thing about working with guys at Lucas is that they allow us to go in and find a niche in the universe and really exploit it and do stuff that no one's done before. So I think, Solo is very much about the film and very much following what happened in the film. Battle for Minbon is like following, there was only a small snippet of that in the film itself. And we get to explore a lot more of the history in that scene and what actually happened there. And then with Lando, I mean, it's based on, there's some Solo stuff there, but it's largely on the comics and the stuff from Marvel Comics recently. And I think we're kind of like the first dedicated game content around this character, which is really, really exciting. I think all three just provide a really different feel and play style, and it's very well rounded. I'm really excited about it. I don't know what else to say. It's just it's fun. I love working with Lucasfilm. They allow us to just do things that with the Star Wars universe that maybe no one's done before. So it's kind of special at Zen that we get to work in that space and be a part of that. So hopefully you all enjoy it as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of lore involved in
Yeah.
this pack, not just the movie. I'm gonna answer Joffrey here, who is asking about flipper catches and post transfers. Yes, Deep is working his magic. He's been working all week based on your feedback on flipper bounciness, on ball catches, on post passes, on ball cradles. The whole physics engine is being shaped by you guys as well, and what you want to see. So hopefully we can get it out into the public beta soon, and you get to try it. You can get to give your feedback on it as we progress until release. And thank you everyone who left any kind of feedback. It helped us a lot. It helped our QA guys, the designers, everyone. It's just great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, someone saying that the Shadow arc and Congo are great.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I actually found a Congo machine once by total accident. I just stayed there for like 2 hours and played it in like a really small pub.
Nice. Yeah, those are special moments. You walk in somewhere and there's something that is just like long lost relic, and it's
Oh
just
yeah.
there sitting waiting for you.
One thing people are asking about is, are we entertaining the thought of physical release for these tables or any of our tables, basically?
So we did a retail game. What was it? 2 years ago now. We did Marvel Collection One. We got some experience in the retail side of things, which is great because I think in the future it's likely that we'll do some retail stuff. I'm a big fan of like special editions. Today's the release of Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man. Awesome job, Insomniac. I'm so excited to
Oh
play
yeah.
it. I have the special edition coming with the Gentle Giant statue, and
Oh
it's going to be
no.
like a moment.
That's
Um,
awesome.
I like that kind of thing. I think for us to do retail stuff, I want to move into that kind of like special moment, special edition type of things. I can just envision something on Switch with like fan gamers flip grip. Like that makes so much sense to play pinball with. And maybe I don't know, just find special ways to do our retail releases. But yeah, let's do some retail. Sure.
Awesome. Another thing that comes up is that are we would we like to work with like other licensors as well in the future, like other pinball manufacturers?
Well, we know everybody. Jack's a good friend of mine over at Jersey Jack Pinball. They're making amazing games, dialed in.
Oh, that's true.
When I was there 2 weeks ago, Akos, I don't know how many games I played. It was like, it was so cool. Pirates of the Caribbean just came out. I haven't played it yet. Obviously, Stern is doing awesome things. The Deadpool game I still haven't
Oh
played,
yeah.
but I want to check that out. We're good friends with everybody. You know, there's times when technology and timing and games and people and all this, like the stars align for special things. I don't know what'll happen in the future, but I think that Zen has a major role to play in pinball. We're going to do it one step at a time with whatever we can handle, what's in front of us, what makes sense. But it's just great that everybody, the whole industry is rising right now. There's so much awesome, so many awesome things happening with the game. We'll see what happens.
Awesome. Okay, I think we covered pretty much a lot of questions that were circling around the community. So, is
Cool.
there anything else you want to say, like a message to our fans?
Yeah, there. I want to say so much, but the thing is, this is a big undertaking for Zen. We understand it's quite different from what our current player base knows from us, and we know that we're now trying to bring in a different type of player. It's up to us to prove to you guys that we can make a high quality game that will support you with proper customer service. We'll listen to your advice and feedback. And Pinball FX3 is set up to be an amazing pinball universe with lots of different things happening in it. So I think that there's definitely room for original Zen content, for Williams Bally content, and for the player base to grow and for more people to play pinball together. And the competitive spirit of the game, I think we're just scratching the surface of what we can do digitally. I'm really excited about the days ahead. We're going to keep working on the game with new features and new content all the time. So welcome to anybody who's new to Zen's community. You have a voice here, and we listen, and we want to take care of you, and we value you. And that's the reason why, we've been doing this for, Zen's been around now for like 13 years or something. We've been making pinball for 10. So obviously we're doing something right. We're going to continue doing that. And lastly, I want to just do a quick shout out to all of our friends at Insomniac and Sony on a job well done with Spider-Man. I cannot wait to play it again. If all of you are here and you're wondering what other game to be playing other than pinball, I would highly recommend Spider-Man. So that's it.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Thanks for Mel for answering questions. Thank you everyone who tuned in and asked their questions. Thank you for everyone for leaving feedback on any kind of channel. And if you want to see some gameplay of the public beta, head on over to the Zen Studios Twitch channel, where I'm going to play a good hour or so of Fishtails. I'm going to try out Medieval Madness. I'm going to try out Junkyard. I'm going to try out High Speed. No, it's the Getaway High Speed 2. I always confuse these.
I always say it backwards too.
Yeah,
I always just want to say High Speed.
Okay, so thank you for everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Mel, for joining me over Skype, by the way. So he's in California, I'm in Budapest. It's really early for him.
High five across the ocean, 6,000 miles or something like that.
And head on over to the Zen Studios Twitch, and we can talk more and do some gameplay. See ya.